Good evening and welcome to Share Market Mike. Heranba Industries Limited have announced their IPO. Quickly, we will go through their IPO details. Important disclaimer, I am not an expert. I am not a SEBI registered advisor. This video is not any recommendation. This video is all about what we understand about the company, going through the red herring prospectus and trying to present the positives and negatives that we feel about the company. In this video, we will try to understand what is the business of the company, IPO details such as the fund size, what the company is going to do with the fund that is going to come through, what is the allocation for retail investors in terms of reservation, are the promoters selling any of their shares, is any of their shares pledged or not, and finally, we will try to analyze their financial numbers and try to calculate some of the ratios like earnings per share, price to earnings per share and debt ratio. Importantly, we will see what is the debt of the company as well. Before getting into the video, a request from our side. If you like the video, kindly support us by hitting the like and subscribe button. First, let us try to understand the business of the company. The company is an agrochemical company in India. Their mission is to improve crop productivity and improve public health. They are the manufacturers of synthetic pyrethroids and its intermediates in India. Their products are sold to Indian government and also to pest control companies. Their products are categorized into insecticide, herbicide, fungicide, intermediates, and public health. Their products under public health are used to kill certain crop destroying creatures like termites, mosquitoes, cockroaches, houseflies, bedbugs, silverfish, spider, crickets, ants, and rats. These are not only used for crops but are also used in hospitals and corporate buildings and also at home. The company's manufacturing unit is at Gujarat. They also export their products to more than 60 countries outside India. The majority of demand for pyrethroids are coming from China. The company also conducts frequent trainings to the farmers. Now that we saw what the company's business is, we will quickly run through the IPO details. The price is fixed at 626 to 627, 627 being the upper band. The minimum lot size is 23 units, so we can apply in multiples of 23 units. So if we are trying to apply at the upper band of 627 rupees for 23 units, we may have to spend 14,421 rupees. Fresh issue coming into the market through this IPO, the total value is 600 million rupees or 60 crore rupees. At the upper band, this comes to 0.96 million equity shares, which are going to be new equity shares. Offer for sale, which means the existing investors or promoters are selling their share. So the value for that is 565 crores. At the upper band, this equates to 90 lakhs 15,000 equity shares. The total fund size for this IPO equates to 625.24 crores at the upper band. The IPO timetable: IPO opens on February 23, closes on February 25, allocation decision is on March 2nd, refund is on March 3rd, and credit of equity shares is expected to be March 4. Trading may start on March 5th. Quickly see who are the promoters here. Sadashiv K. Shetty and Raghuram K. Shetty are the promoters. They are brothers. They acquired the company in the year 1996. So Sadashiv K. Shetty and Raghuram K. Shetty are selling some of their shares. In addition to them, Sam's Industries are selling some of their shares. Sam's Industries are controlled by the same promoters. Other than that, Babu K. Shetty and Vitala K. Bandari are also selling some of their shares. Is any of the promoters' shares pledged? The answer is no through the red herring prospectus, which is a positive sign for the company. What is the company going to do with the funds that they are going to collect? The funds that they get through the offer for sale goes to the promoters and the investors, whoever is selling the shares. But the fund that gets collected through fresh issue is going to the company, which is roughly around 600 million or 60 crores. With that, the company is planning to fund working capital requirements, and they have allocated 500 million rupees for that. And the next purpose is the general corporate purpose, but they have still not mentioned how much money they are going to use it, and this is from their red herring prospectus. We will see the reservation for retail investors in this IPO. Retail portion has 35% reservation, which according to us is a good point. QIB, which is qualified institutional buyers, they have 50% reservation. Non-institutional portion have 15% reservation in this IPO. Now we will try to do the financial analysis of the company. We have got their 3 years financial data from their red herring prospectus. Usually 5 or 6 years of financial data is good for any analysis, but all we have got is the last 3 years financial data. We will try to analyze from those data. The important thing to note here is all the numbers here are in million rupees, and we will try to go in depth each of the line item displayed here. This is the consolidated last 3 years financial data of the company. Important point is revenue from operations is going up from 2018 to 19, but from 2019 to 20 the revenue from operations has gone down, but the profit after tax has gone up from 2018 to 19 and gone up again from 2019 to 20. The main reason that we can see is the expenses from 2019 to 20 has gone down. Now we will try to see in depth each of the line items here. Revenue from operations has increased from 2018 to 19 and then decreased from 2019 to 20. How much has it increased or decreased? We'll quickly see. From 2018 to 2020 through CAGR per year, the growth is 13% for operational revenue. And from 2019 to 20, just for the last year, we can see that there is a dip which is minus 5.3%. If we look at the EBITDA or the operating profit, EBITDA, for those who don't understand, it is earnings before interest, tax, depreciation and amortization. If we look at that, from 2018 to 19 it has increased, but from 2019 to 20 it has gone down. And the EBITDA margin, somewhere the company is maintaining between 13 and 13.6 for the last 2 years. 2018 it was 11.8%. So operating profit, how much it is growing? It is growing at a rate of 21.4%. This is through CAGR. CAGR is compounded annual growth rate from 2018 to 2020. Only for the last 2 years, which is from 2019 to 20, it has dipped by 1.6%. So profit for the year after tax, how is it looking? Financial year 2018 to 19 it has gone up, and from 2019 to 20 again it has gone up, which is a positive sign. By how much it has grown? Through CAGR from 2018 to 2020 it has grown by 44.4%. Only for the last year, if we see, which is from 2019 to 20, it has grown by almost 30%. ROE and ROC, which is return on equity and return on capital employed, the higher the better these ratio. So for this company, what we see in 2018 is 29.8. From in 2019 it is 39.12, but in financial year 2020 there is a dip in ROE, which is 35.61. But standalone 35.61 looks good, but we can only say that after comparing it with their peers. Return on capital employed, as I said, it has to be on the higher side for the betterment of the company. So financial year 2018 it was 37, 2019 it has gone up 47, which is good, but in 2020 it has come down 37.83. And now let's look at the debt of the company. The debt has gone down, which is good. From 2018 to 2020, if you look at it, the debt has gone down, which is good. The company has also given us a data for financial year 2021, which is first 6 months of the 2021. And based on that, the debt value is gone down even further, which is 380.19 million rupees, which is good. Now let's quickly see the interest coverage ratio. For those who don't know what interest coverage ratio is, this tells us if the company has the capacity, even though it has taken debt, the interest that the company has to pay for that debts, is it having that capability and is it earning enough to pay that interest for that particular year? This is what is interest coverage ratio. The higher the better this ratio as well. So financial year 2018 it was 7.01, financial year 2019 it is 11.69, and financial year 2020 it is 13.71. so this looks positive to us. Debt to equity ratio, the lesser the better for the company, this particular ratio. If you look at 2018 it is 0.48, 2019 0.22, 2020 it is 0.13. So it has gone down all through, which is a positive sign for the company. Debt to asset ratio, the lower the better for the company. Again, 2018 it is 16.87, 2019 it is 88.90, and 2020 it is 6.90. So it is also coming down, which is also a positive sign for the company. Earnings per share, this we did not calculate. We have taken this from the red herring prospectus. So for 2018 it is 12, 2019 it is 19.31, 2020 it is 25.03. So this is increasing, which is a positive sign for the company. So now with this we will try to calculate the PE, price to earnings ratio. We will take the current market price as the upper band of the IPO, which is 627, and from the red herring prospectus we know the earnings per share for financial year 2020 is 25.03. Using that, when we calculate, we get the PE as 25.05. This is before IPO. Now we have to calculate for after IPO, because after IPO there is a fresh issue coming in, so the share count is increasing. So from that, EPS gets calculated and gets reduced from 25 to 24.4, and with that we calculate the PE. It comes roughly to 25.68. We will try to compare the PE with their peers. That peer details is given by the company itself through their red herring prospectus. So we'll quickly see what the company has provided and who their peers are. Punjab Chemical and Crop Protection Limited is one of their peers, whose PE ratio is 95.10 as per the company's red herring prospectus. Then they have Bharat Rasayan, which has a PE ratio of 26.87, that is the lowest, and Punjab Chemical is the highest. We'll quickly see the other peers, what their PE ratio is. Rallis India has 28.77, Sumitomo Chemicals has 77.38, Bharat Rasayan has 26.87, just now we saw. Punjab Chemicals has 96.10. One interesting fact here is Bharat Rasayan has an impressive earnings per share, more than 370 rupees per share. So based on this data, what we can conclude is the PE ratio for this company, Herrenba, is on the lower side. But we need to reiterate that we calculate PE based on financial year 2020 data. The company in the red herring prospectus have also provided data for the first 6 months of financial year 2021 and also the first 6 months financial data of FY 2020. So it is easier for us to compare. So based on that, the revenue from operations has increased, which is a positive sign, and profit after tax also has increased, which is also a positive sign, and earnings per share for the first 6 months compared to the previous year first 6 months has also increased, and that is also a positive sign. With this, we have come to the end of the video. If you have a difference of opinion or find anything factually wrong in this video, kindly voice it. If you like this video, kindly support us by hitting the like and subscribe button. Thank you.